What's up guys, Jcfigz here, and today we're going to review the UFC Unleashed Chuck the Iceman Liddell action figure by Jakks Pacific. Man, what a cool figure this is. If you watched UFC back in like 2008, 2009, Chuck Liddell was the man. If you thought of UFC, you thought of one person, and that was Chuck the Iceman Liddell. His feuds with Tito Ortiz, Quentin Rampage, Jackson, Vanderlei Silva, the list goes on. He had an outstanding career. This guy was everywhere. TV, movies, music videos, everything. Chuck Liddell is absolutely a legend in the MMA game. Now let's go ahead and get into the box art here. On the front top it says as real as it gets, UFC Unleashed, UFC collection, top left. In the center you can see Chuck the Iceman Liddell in his plastic prison. The background inside is of a UFC cage, says UFC.com in there. Chuck Liddell, the Iceman on the bottom. You got a nice picture of Chuck Liddell on the front. And you can see his ribs and stuff, almost like it's an x-ray. It looks really cool. Then there's an image on the bottom left of the figure itself doing the classic Chuck Liddell pose. On the side of the box, Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. It's got a picture of Chuck Liddell. It looks like he's in ice. And you can see his ribs again there. On the back of the box, UFC Unleashed top left, Chuck Liddell the Iceman top right. And then you can see a little cutout area of the back of the figure. It looks really cool. Now on the left side, there's a quote from Chuck Liddell. It says, "I never felt like it was me out there. I'll never forget the first time I walked into the MGM and how loud it was. And it was us walking out there. It wasn't just me." Chuck Liddell addressing the fans at Hall of Fame induction July 10th, 2009. Then on the right side, it says, "As real as it gets" again. And on the other side of the box is the same image as the left side. Overall, the box art on this figure is outstanding. I really hate to open it, but I'm going to keep the box pretty mint as I can, and I might put them back in when I'm done with this review. Alright, so we'll start off with the head here. The head has a yellowish tint to it. I'm not sure if that just happened over time or if all of these Iceman figures are like this. But inside the head you can see the skull, and there's some meat on the skull as well. On the top of his head you can see his mohawk. His mouth is open like he's screaming, like Chuck Liddell's signature victory pose. You see the ears and the eyes a little bit there. Then you go down and the torso is clear. You can see the rib cage inside the torso. Right below the torso is the spine going into the stomach. And he still has some articulation, which is nice. On the shoulders, it's clear, but there are no bones or anything in there. The arms, you can see the bones in there as well, and it's red. So I guess either covered in blood or maybe it's a little bit of meat on the bones. Looks pretty good though. And it even goes into the elbow joints, which is interesting and really cool. And this is one of the older Jakks UFC figures, so there's no butterfly joints on here. It's only single jointed elbows rather than double jointed. Just so you know, Jakks did butterfly joints long before Mattel even thought about it. And then the gloves look really good. It says UFC on the gloves, and the fingers are clear, and there are no bones in the fingers either. We go on down to the classic blue Chuck Liddell trunks, and on the front in the groin area it says Iceman.tv. Move on down to the left side of the trunks, it says the Pit in white, and it's got the Pit logo right there. It looks really good. On the left side of the trunks it says Sinister and a big S. On the back right side of the trunks it says Zions, one of those classic energy drinks. And on the right side it has the tap out symbol. Another thing everyone always used to associate the UFC with was the tap out company. Anyone who was a fan of UFC back in the day had a tap out shirt, whether you could fight or not. Move on down to the legs, and in the thigh area there is no bones showing, but it is still clear. The knees are double jointed, but there is no bones in there either. Just some clear plastic. And then we move to the shins, and there is a shin bone surrounded by blood or meat. And then down to the feet, you can see the veins in the feet, but there is no bones in the feet either. Overall though, this figure is insane. It's super cool, it's very unique, it's gonna look great in the UFC collection. Now let's go ahead and check out the articulation, and then we'll do a little bit of a comparison and some action shots. Okay, so time for the articulation test. The head can go all the way around, exorcist style. It doesn't really go up and down a whole lot. There's not much movement there. The shoulders can go all the way around and out and in. The elbows are single jointed and they do not bend a whole lot. That's about as far as they go. And then the wrists can go all the way around, and they also go in and out. We got a nice little ab crunch here. It goes back and forward. The waist can be spinned all the way around like so. We got the ball joints at the hips up here. Thigh cut at the top under the shorts. The knees are double jointed, so that's nice, but they are pinned. The foot or the feet can go down and back up like so. However, there is no toe cut down there. Overall, this figure has great articulation for the time it came out. I believe it was 2010. And he should be able to put on some pretty awesome fights. Here we have a few comparisons. I don't have another Chuck Liddell figure to compare with, but I do have a newer Jakks Pacific UFC figure, Mauricio Shogun Hua. And in that figure, you can see what I was talking about, that later on in the UFC line, they included the butterfly joints in the shoulders. It made for much better posability, as we all know now with Mattel figures. I have the Ultimate Edition Brock Lesnar on the very left. However, that's an older Ultimate Edition, so he does not have the butterfly joints. Conor McGregor has the double jointed elbows. He still has pins. He's got the nice torso articulation like the Mattel WWE Ultimate Editions. Double jointed knees, feet, and however there is no toe cut in those Jazwares figures. There is a toe cut, however, in the Mattel WWE figures. It's very unfortunate that the Jazwares UFC line got discontinued, or at least we believe it has, because they have not pumped out any figures in over a year, I believe it's been. However, the old Jakks UFC figures still hold up till this day, and the articulation for its time is incredible. You can still have a lot of fun with these figures, and there's a wide variety of different fighters to choose from. You can really create a nice UFC collection with the Jakks UFC figs. Now, do you prefer the Jakks or the Jazwares UFC figures? Let me know in the comments below. So that's going to do it for now, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, peace!